Have you ever noticed that ideas are easy? They're exciting. They arrive in the shower, or they arrive when you go to bed, or while you're driving, maybe even lying awake at night, or dropping the kids off to school, or halfway through another completely unrelated project. Ideas seem to have no trouble finding us. So here's the question that I've been sitting with lately. If ideas are everywhere, why do so few ever become reality, tangible? I don't think it's because people aren't creative enough, and I don't think it's because they're lazy, and I certainly don't think it's because they don't care. I think there's something much deeper going on. So welcome to No Fluff Spirituality. I'm Bascha, business, life and spirit for the new era, grounded, clear, real. Today I'd love to talk about the quiet space between having an idea and actually bringing it into the world. One thing I've learned over the years is that conception and creation are two very different seasons, flavors, fractals. Conception is usually exciting, enthralling, a bit of a rush, feel good. It's a possibility. So everything feels open. Your imagination has free rein. Creation is different. Creation asks something of you. It asks you to keep showing up after the excitement of the ideas has perhaps worn off, and to return tomorrow and the day after that, and when no one's applauding, and when no one even knows what you're building. Because if you're anything like me, I keep things close to the hip. If I'm in creation, then I'm devoted to the project no matter what, no matter if anybody knows. And by keeping it close to the hip, it allows me to percolate without outside influences until it's ready to be birthed. Not everyone's the same, but that's how I do it. I sometimes wonder if we celebrate conception far more than we celebrate creation. Perhaps that's why so many beautiful ideas never leave the notebook, or the sketch pad, or the iPad, or even our mind, or even never move from our heart or that fire in our belly. When doubt quietly walks in, one thing I've noticed is that when a beautiful new idea arrives, it often comes with that rush of energy. You can almost feel it. Everything seems possible. Then something interesting happens. The practical questions begin and arise out of our psyche or from someone we might have shared our ideas with. Often it's a self-inquiry. Who am I to do this? What if nobody wants it? Perhaps I should wait until I've finished everything else first. Perhaps I need another qualification, or, if I just did that art therapy course, it'll be the perfect thing to create whatever it is I want to create. I don't really have the time. Time's a big one. We always say, I don't have the time. Maybe when life settles down. Sound familiar, all of this, or some of this? That's when our mind chatter, old limiting beliefs, patterning, our subconscious has stored all of that, and bloop, it rises up into our consciousness and we believe it to be true, or we're just so used to it, this looping. And I don't think those thoughts necessarily mean the idea's wrong. I think they mean often the older protective parts of ourselves are trying to keep ourselves safe. We don't want another flop or a failure, or feel inadequate or create anxiety for no reason. Because every meaningful creation does ask us to step into unfamiliar territory. And unfamiliar can be feeling quite uncomfortable. So instead of creating, we postpone. We quietly place the idea on the back burner, but comfort ourselves knowing that it's just on pause. Sometimes for months, sometimes for years, sometimes forever. Waiting for more time or more confidence, more certainty, more money. The trouble is, the perfect moment rarely arrives, and I believe we know that on some level. You know, it's never going to be at that perfect right time, right? I don't think most people have an ideas problem. I think it's more a completion problem, as if there is a gap. Because the beginning feels wonderful, the beginning is full of possibility, nothing's failed yet, nothing has been judged, nothing has been released. Completion is much more vulnerable. The moment you finish something, the world gets to respond. People may love it, or they may not. Suddenly your idea isn't safely tucked away inside your imagination anymore. It's visible. And visibility asks for courage and conviction and resilience and a sense of self-worth and self-love to stand in what we have created and devoted ourselves to. Not every idea is meant to become a creation, of course. But you know, this is the main point today. The ones that keep returning are usually trying to tell us something. Something else I've noticed, every meaningful piece of work eventually reaches a point where it stops being exciting. It's like there's that messy middle. Could be the podcast, the book, the business, the relationship, a renovation, a garden, whatever you're creating. There's always a moment where the romance phase fades. It's like that love at first sight, the butterflies, sort of things quieten down and love at second sight kicks in, the devotion phase. And usually the moment people assume they've lost inspiration is that point where that sort of romance fades. I don't think they've lost inspiration, though, in my viewpoint. I think they've simply arrived at the part where devotion begins. And along with devotion is checking in, what are my conviction pillars? You know, where is my resilience at? And my sense of self-worth and my sense of my own follow-through and accountability to myself. Now, this has changed the way that I work. Instead of asking, what's the next big idea? I find myself asking, what season am I in? Some seasons are for dreaming, some are for learning, some are for planting the seeds and letting them germinate and are in fertile soils, allowing the sun to beat down and watering them. And some are for creating. So that's how I view it more and more. And wisdom isn't trying to force yourself into the wrong season. So the more we become wise to all of this, it's about that recognition where life is already inviting you. And this podcast is actually a good example for me. The idea arrived long before the first episode did. And there were plenty of reasons to wait. Wait for better equipment. Wait for better timing until I'd finished that other project and that work with that client and onboarded this client and had that masterclass set. Less on my plate, more certainty. But eventually there comes that moment where you realize this creation is asking more of me than the curveballs, the so-called obstacles, call them excuses, are. It is asking more of me. And am I willing to be vulnerable and step into that with trust and courage? Can I leave you with something to reflect on this next week? What's one idea, just one, that keeps quietly returning? Not the newest exciting one. The one that simply won't leave you alone. Maybe it's the one asking to be created. Not someday, now. One of the gifts human design has given me is permission to stop comparing my creative rhythm with everyone else's. We're not all designed to move at the same pace, in the same way. We ride our waves of emotional authority or mental authority completely different between different energy types. So we're not designed to move at the same pace or in the same way. Understanding your own natural rhythm, not the one that you learnt at school from your teacher or from a parent who is not you. So when we do understand our own natural, and this changes everything, you stop forcing, pushing, knowing somewhere deep inside that this is not your flow. But it's become habitual. It's become learned. It's become, that's what I know, and I should do it. And you start creating from who you actually are and who you truly, authentically be. And if you'd like to understand more about your own unique design and natural way of creating, I've included a gift, a link in the show notes to my free Unlock Your Genius Foundation Human Design Report for you. You just fill out a few details and you can download your own report. Sometimes one small insight about yourself changes the way you approach everything. Perhaps the world doesn't need more ideas. Perhaps it needs more people willing to lovingly bring their ideas into reality. Not perfectly, not quickly, just faithfully. Because ideas may inspire us, but creation changes lives. This is No Fluff Spirituality, Business, Life and Spirit for the New Era. Grounded, clear, real. And I'm Bascha. Until next time, honour the season you're in.